Good morning, fellow option traders. This is Jeff, and welcome to the daily scan for Friday, March 22nd, 2013. All right, let's take a look here. All right, we're looking kind of flat this morning for an open, but I wanted to just briefly touch on yesterday. And we'll go here and do the calendar. Yesterday we had a lot of announcements. Jobless claims and existing home sales, they all looked positive. But what we ended up with was a rather down day yesterday, didn't we? If we look at the SPX, take a peek at a chart, it was not a very pretty day yesterday on the SPX. Just opened up. Actually, it opened right where it closed the day before, which is not unusual. This hardly ever gaps. And it just moved down the rest of the day. So, just to show you that good news is not always positive for the market. Now, whether that news affected it or not, I don't know. Who knows? I mean, the pundits on TV say that, again, it's the euro and the crisis over in Cyprus and all that stuff. So we just really don't know. All right. And also yesterday, I opened up the trade on Priceline that I was looking at on yesterday's review. And we had, it had come down and touched our target. Things were looking pretty good. And actually, I made a recording of my thoughts as I entered the trade, and let's watch it now. All right, here we are. It is 10:45 in the morning, and just want to let you know that the alert on Priceline went off at 9:43, and we were looking for it to move above 692.37, and we were going to do a bull put trade on that. So it did trigger, and we're waiting a little while to make a trade. So it's now, as I mentioned, 10:45. The price has pulled back slightly, as shown here on the hourly chart. So what kind of play are we going to do? So we're looking here at, came down and hit this 50 moving average, and it sort of acted as support as it did back here in February. So rather than doing like a 20 delta, we have to look for something that maybe is dealing with a previous low, let's say. So we have 680 as a previous low, or even 670 if we look back here into February as a previous low. So what's going to be the safest? Well, you just never know. But looking at 670 here, we have a delta of 27, almost 28, and if we look at 680, we have a delta of 35. So what that is telling us is that in the world of probabilities, that we have a 73% chance that this will expire out of the money. So this 670 will be out of the money at April expiration, as opposed to the 680, which has a 65% probability of expiring out of the money. So which one do we pick? Well, I mean, there's that to consider, and it's those previous lows. So let's see what kind of price we would get for this 670. So we want to sell a vertical. Right now it's $1.25. Let's go back and take a look at the price here. The price actually has moved up since just a moment ago, which is strange. Oh, okay, now we're down to $1.15 here. So that's not too bad of a deal, I don't think, for something that has a better probability than a 1-to-1 or a 50-50 chance, like some of the other trades. But when when we're going for a longer duration of having the trade open, we would like to have a better probability of it expiring out of the money, because they can go really horribly, terribly bad if you do a 1-to-1 ratio, you know, like right at the money. So at the money right now, we're looking at 695, and this 695 strike here is giving us a delta of 48.5. So there's a 51.5% probability that this will expire out of the money. But you have to take a look at momentum too when you're doing those types of trades. So I'm pretty happy with this. I would like to get a $1.25 out of it. So I just right click here and I say create duplicate order. I'm going to want a $1.25, and I think I'm going to do 2 lots. So right now that's the mid. $1.25 is a midpoint. It may execute right away, or it may not. So let's find out. Alright, so we're looking at sell 2 vertical, 670, 665 puts at a $1.25 limit, and we will ship that off to the market and see what happens. See, it's down to a $1.20 now. It's kind of moving around. I just want to get that extra nickel. It makes me feel better. It's like not all that critical, but so often you enter trades and they execute right away, when maybe if you would have waited a little bit longer you might get a better price. So we'll see what happens here. Alright, we'll take a look at the account statement, and we'll put price line up here and see when that trade did execute. You have to have a specific account when you do that. Let's make it 2 days. Come on, 2. And there is the trade right there. I did get the $1.25, and it took it until 20 after 1 Eastern time, so that sat there for quite a while. We'll take a look at the chart, and here's why. This trade executed on this candle. So it was on autopilot yesterday, and I got a fair middle price, I guess you could say, for yesterday, because it actually executed, you know, around here on the calendar on this daily candle. So it would have been a fair price, and I'm pretty happy with that. So now we have on the short-term chart, the hourly chart, the stochastic dipping down. We're expecting a hook up, and on the midterm we have a hook up. Even though we have a red candle here, we still have a hook up. It's not the greatest one in the world. Here's our short strike. I put them in yellow here if I have like a pending order or I'm still thinking about it, so we'll just change that one over to white. I don't like that white. So there we are. It's an April expiration. We have a lot of time for it to develop, and momentum maybe shifting back up to the upside like it did back here, but we still, you know, have a lot of time for that trade. Let's see here the rest. Let's take a look at the spread account. Spread account not doing so hot here, and price line is the reason for that. Effectively it's flat, and our insurance policies haven't begun to pay off yet in that account. And we'll move over to the Profit 10 portfolio. It's up a couple bucks yesterday, 145 on the positive side. Amazon, Baidu's not so much a worry anymore. Let's take a look at a chart on Baidu. Let's see if I have to eat my words or not. No, it is moving back up. We've got some positive momentum moving back into that particular underlying. Amazon now is the one that could be a bit worrisome, and it is getting very close to the short strike. We'll have to see how that plays out. I know that there's some talk about state sales tax on internet transactions. They're pushing for that because, geez, the government needs more money, you know. I mean, they're so poor. You know, Washington D.C. has the highest housing prices and the lowest unemployment in the country. Go figure. All right. Market this morning is looking a little flat. The VIX is almost at 14. That's good for us premium sellers. Gold is hanging in there above 1600. And oil, they said oil made a big move yesterday. I don't see it here. I mean, they said like $1. Well, I think it did. It might have moved $1 yesterday. Let's take a look. But that's not a big move for oil. I don't know why they got so excited about this. It actually looks like it, to me, like it dropped. At least this particular future that I watch. Natural gas is still very cheap. And those are the things that I pretty much look at. I'm not getting any response out of this. I'm going to get an error, I'll bet you. I bet you I'm going to get an error. Okay, so that's where we are on the existing accounts. I'm not going to go too much into depth on anything there. And we'll just jump right over to the A+ list and skip ones that we are in because I'm not going to be adding to anything that I'm in right now. So as a reference, I'll keep this up so I know what I'm in. Don't have anything in Apple, and I know that I was going to be looking at an at the money yesterday, and I didn't see anything here that excited me at all. The movement yesterday was not anything to get real hot and bothered about, so I stayed away from it. Amazon we're in, Baidu we're in, CF we're in, Chipotle, CRM, let's take a look at Salesforce. Maybe we'll have a short video today. I was looking for a move up here. This definitely has some promise for today, so I'm moving this alert down. I'm going to move it down now like there. And we'll see. Make a note of that. Alright, and Google, we are in. Google is in a bit of trouble here right now, but we still have a week left on that one. I want to see how bad it is. We're at 810 and the stock's at 811, so it's not all that bad. Yeah, it's actually moving in our favor. So we have a hook down here, momentum leaving. It's looking pretty good actually. Alright, back to MasterCard. We are in. Netflix we're in. Priceline we're in. And Panera we are in. Chipotle, let's just take a look at that one. That one is in trouble. CMG, Chipotle. We'll see what we can see here, what we have today, to see if it, what might happen today and where this might expire. So if we look at this, I can't tell anything from this. This bid ask is way too wide to be able to determine what it may open at. So we'll watch that one today, and I'll report back on Monday, or you can watch it too. and let me know. Well, you don't have to let me know. Well, you can if you want. I'll be watching it anyway. All right, so that's it for today. Have a great day. Have a good weekend, and happy trading.